My name is Bruce Bates. I live in Springs, and I've lived in the town of East Hampton my entire life. We are inside the East Hampton Town Emergency Operations Center, and this is basically my office because I am the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator for the town of East Hampton. Things were not available to anybody anywhere, and we reached out in a couple of different ways. The Chief of Police authorized one of his sergeants and a grant writer he had working for him to make that their full-time job during the day. And they were just searching the internet trying to find these. I was doing the same, and as soon as we found them, we just made the purchases, sometimes on our own personal credit cards, because they were not lasting very long once we found them. I also worked with Suffolk County because they were working with the federal government and the state to find this equipment for us. And we were able to organize with the local fire departments and ambulance corps to go and pick up this personal protective equipment that was essential to them and get it into their hands. We did not have anything really in place that would work with this pandemic. So we had to start from scratch, and we had to brainstorm these policies, protocols, procedures, vet them through the town supervisor, and then we had to implement them with the employees. Much like a lot of the school systems, a lot of the town employees were working remotely, which that became a big challenge also. So we did a lot of physical changes inside the town buildings, putting up shields, guards, spacing, things like that, to keep people safe, which is one of the reasons why we are able to function in person now. And we also have the supplies that the staff needs. If they're going to interact with someone, then they can use a face mask or gloves, hand sanitizer, things like that. So it basically has changed us forever. But I think overall, going through this pandemic is made everybody aware that nothing is really insurmountable. Certainly a bigger challenge and more difficult, and we're still living this thing. I found out early on that there was a device for sanitizing, and it can decontaminate a room because it puts out a spray which is electronically charged. And so basically you can come in here and spray with this device, and you don't have to get under chairs or under tables or things like that. It does it by itself. I brought that forward, and unfortunately there was a lag time as far as delivery of that equipment, which it was deemed as not going to be worthwhile to help us. Ironically, the lag time was 2 months. So it's a device that a lot of facilities are using now. I think some of the local school bus companies even have them on board their buses so they can sanitize. That's the one that sticks out. We had so many policies, protocols, and procedures in drafts that got changed and altered, and we found some things didn't work as well as we wanted them to, so we would change them again. But I think that's the one thing that sticks out in my mind is what a tremendous idea it was, and it never came to fruition. What the chief financial officer at the time did was that he took one line item in my budget, which was labeled equipment, and everything was purchased through that line item so we could track it for potential reimbursement through FEMA or whomever. So where the actual dollars came from, it's not for me to say because I honestly don't know. At the time, it sounds ridiculous, but I didn't really care because we needed what we needed and it cost what it cost. We have a great network of communication between the county officials. Mostly I'm referring to the emergency management officials, and between all the township emergency managers. We have quarterly conferences. Every other month we will meet on things. If there's any large events looming, we will have conference calls, Zooms, whatever is needed. But the communication locally was also very good, I think. We had in the emergency response community, when this first started, we were having almost nightly conference calls. As we kind of got a better handle on things, we went to every other day, and then we went to once a week. I am very proud of the way our emergency response community stood up through this. I mean, you can't imagine that if you're an EMS worker and you're getting a call and it's announced that it's a FC, fever, cough response, which is a good indication that you might be dealing with someone who is potentially got COVID-19, and you still go and help that person out. I think it speaks volumes as to the type of people that we have in our town that are willing to volunteer their time to help residents, most of whom they don't even know. The first one I think of is challenging. And I think it was challenging for everyone, obviously, some more than others. Um, I've been doing this job a long time. This is my 27th year. So we've been through a lot. And in the emergency management business, you don't always get a lot of time to think, well, gee, what's the best way to go about this? It happens and you need to get it done. And I think because this is, we've never encountered anything like this, certainly not locally or within the last 100 years. I think that was part of the biggest challenge for us. It was uncharted territory.